The party lights glare down on me as I stand alone in the corner of our family's modern bungalow in Austin, the hum of laughter and clinking glasses filling the air. This is it. My brother's big birthday bash, the event my family has been buzzing about for weeks. I'd shown up anyway, hoping maybe this time things would be different, even though I'd reserved a spot at the table with a little card bearing my name, Jodie White. A voice cuts through the crowd, my mom's sharp and unyielding. "You don't belong here looking like that." She snaps her eyes, raking over my simple outfit, the one I'd worn after a long day at my beauty startup office downtown. "You're embarrassing us. Get out." Before I can respond, my brother's wife steps in, glass of wine in hand, her face twisted in disgust. "Yeah, leave. You look poor like you don't even try." The room quiets as she hurls the glass my way, shattering it inches from my face, shards scattering across the floor. I freeze, heart pounding, as murmurs ripple through the guests. Then the door bursts open. My dad storms in, his face thunderous. "Who dares touch my child?" he bellows, his voice echoing off the walls. My brother goes pale, stepping back like he's seen a ghost. The tension hangs thick, cameras from guests' phones already flashing, capturing the chaos. In that moment, as I wipe a stray shard from my cheek, I realize this isn't just a family fight. It's the breaking point of years of being overlooked. But how did it come to this? Stick around to find out. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life drama stories that hit home. The memory floods back from when I was 12, sitting cross-legged on the floor of my room in our modern bungalow in Austin. I'd saved up my allowance for weeks to buy that cheap set of colored pencils and a few old dolls from the thrift store. With careful strokes, I drew eyeliner on one doll's face, blending shades to create what I thought was a glamorous look. My heart raced with excitement as I imagined sharing this with someone, anyone who might listen. Downstairs, the TV blared with real estate investment shows. Jonathan's latest venture, a lemonade stand he'd set up in the driveway, had made $20 that day. Dad's voice boomed through the house. "That's my boy, closing deals like a true white man." I could hear the pride in his tone, the kind I never got. Mom joined in, laughing as she recounted how Jonathan had negotiated with neighbors for better prices on lemons. I pressed on with my drawing, whispering to the dolls about beauty tips I'd read in a magazine. The door creaked open, and there was Mom, her finger to her lips. "Honey, keep it down. Your brother's highlights are on, and your father needs to focus." Her words stung, but I nodded, lowering my voice even more. "But Mom, I was just—" She cut me off with a tired smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I know, sweetie. Maybe later. You know how important these business lessons are for Jonathan." The door clicked shut, and I stared at the dolls, their painted faces mocking my silence. Later never came. It was always Jonathan stands his profits, his future in real estate. Dad would ruffle his hair and say, "A son carries the family name forward." When I asked why he skipped my school art fair, he patted my shoulder. "Your brother's under real pressure, Jodie. You're the lucky one, no expectations." Lucky. The word echoed in my mind as I hid my drawings under the bed. I learned to create in whispers after that, sketching makeup designs on scrap paper when no one was around. The pencils dulled, but I carved my initials JW into the box. I'd imagine an audience out there, people who cared about what Jodie White had to create. Years of this built my resolve. Understanding their preference for Jonathan made the hurt sharper at first, but then it fueled me. Being the daughter who faded into the background became my role. In high school, I filled notebooks with beauty product ideas, but family dinners revolved around Jonathan's latest sales pitch. One evening, I showed Mom a sketch of a lipstick shade I'd invented in my head. She glanced at it while stirring dinner. "That's cute, honey, but help set the table. Jonathan's telling us about his new investment plan." Dad nodded from the living room, calling Jonathan over for advice on a property deal. I retreated to my room, whispering to myself, "If they won't see my dreams, I'll make them visible to the world." That quiet determination stuck. The bungalow felt smaller each day, filled with echoes of praise for my brother. Dad's job in real estate kept him out late closing deals, rarely home for my moments. By 13, I'd started experimenting with actual makeup, buying samples with babysitting money. One afternoon, Jonathan burst in, grabbing a pencil for his business ledger. "Hey sis, mind if I borrow this?" He didn't wait for an answer. Mom called from downstairs. "Jonathan, dinner's ready. Tell us about your profits today." I sat there, pencils scattered, dreams pushed aside again. But in that silence, my passion grew stronger. I vowed to build something they couldn't ignore, even if it meant doing it alone. The favoritism shaped me, turning whispers into a quiet roar inside. As time passed, I collected more supplies, practicing on myself in the mirror when the house was empty. Jonathan's successes mounted his stand, expanded to selling neighborhood goods. Dad beamed at every update while my efforts went unnoticed. One weekend, I set up a small makeup station in the backyard. A neighbor kid wandered over, curious. I showed her a simple look, her eyes lighting up. For the first time, someone listened. But when Mom saw, she shooed the girl away. "Jodie, don't distract from Jonathan's sale today." That sealed it. My dreams would thrive in the shadows until they burst into light. The bungalow with its modern lines and Texas heat became both prison and forge for my ambition. Senior year of high school brought new pressures. I sat at the kitchen table in our bungalow, brochures from top universities spread out before me. The one from Parsons School of Design caught my eye, their beauty and fashion programs circled in red marker. It promised courses on cosmetics formulation and digital media, everything I needed to turn my sketches into reality. My pulse quickened as I pictured myself in New York learning from experts. Dad walked in, first coffee mug in hand. He glanced at the papers without sitting down. "What's all this, Jodie?" I pushed the Parsons brochure toward him. "I want to apply here. They have the best design program for beauty products." He set his mug down, frowning. "That sounds expensive. And what kind of job does that lead to, painting faces?" Mom entered, then wiping her hands on a dish towel. She picked up the brochure, scanning it quickly. "Your father's right. Those art degrees are hobbies, honey. Something more practical like business administration." Their words hit hard. I'd expected pushback, but not this dismissal. "But it's not just art. It's an industry, makeup brands marketing." Dad shook his head. "Jonathan's heading to Texas A&M on a full ride for real estate management. That's stable. We can't afford to throw money at dreams." Mom patted my arm. "We want what's best for you. Apply to something reliable." I applied to Parsons anyway, got accepted with a partial scholarship. The financial aid letter showed a gap of $15,000 per year. That night, I showed it to them in the living room. Mom's face tightened. "That's a lot for something that might not pay off." Dad crossed his arms. "We're helping Jonathan with his setup costs. Your program? It's risky." Defeated, I enrolled at Austin Community College instead. Classes were affordable, but I needed money for supplies. I took a part-time job at a local diner, working evening shifts, flipping burgers and serving coffee. The tips were meager, but I saved every penny. After classes, I'd head to pawn shops downtown, bargaining for used makeup kits and a second-hand camera. My first semester was grueling. Mornings in lecture halls learning basic design principles, afternoons at the diner wiping tables. Evenings I'd crash in my dorm, but not before practicing. One night, after a double shift, I set up in my closet, foam pads stapled to the walls for soundproofing. The camera balanced on a stack of books. I hit record. "Hello everyone. Today I'm sharing a simple, everyday look using affordable products." My voice shook at first, but I kept going, demonstrating blends with the pawn shop finds. Uploading to YouTube felt terrifying but exhilarating. Views trickled in, 10, then 50. Comments appeared, "Love this more, please." For the first time, strangers valued what I created. As months passed, I refined my channel. Videos on budget skincare routines, DIY lip balms. Subscribers grew to 100, then 500. Meanwhile, at home during breaks, conversations centered on Jonathan. "He's acing his classes," Dad bragged. "Already interning at a firm." Mom nodded. "We're so proud." I mentioned my channel once over dinner. "I've started posting beauty tutorials online." Mom smiled politely. "That's nice, dear. Pass the potatoes, Jonathan. Tell us about your latest project." The indifference stung, but it pushed me harder. Nights at the diner became bearable knowing each shift funded better equipment. By sophomore year, my channel hit 1,000 subscribers. I bought a proper microphone from savings recording in that same closet. "If family won't support me," I whispered to the lens, "I'll build my own community." The decision to go independent shaped everything. No co-signers, no handouts, just my effort. Community college taught resilience. Professors noticed my drive when even suggesting online certifications in cosmetics chemistry. I juggled it all, graduating with honors, but no fanfare from home. Jonathan's ceremony got the family trip. Mine, a quick text. That gap year, after I launched my first product line sketches funding it with channel ad revenue, the bungalow visits grew rarer, their favoritism clearer. But my audience listened, and that was enough. 3 weeks later, I drove the familiar route back to the bungalow for Thanksgiving. The Texas highway stretched out, November chill in the air, but the scent of roasting turkey hit me as soon as I pushed open the front door. Cars packed the driveway, extended family already inside. I set my overnight bag down, calling out a hello. Voices echoed from the living room, laughter mixed with football commentary on TV. I climbed the stairs to drop my things in my old room. The door swung open, and I stopped dead. My twin bed was gone, replaced by a desk cluttered with files and a computer monitor. Shelves lined the walls, holding framed certificates from Jonathan's real estate courses and small trophies from industry awards. Newspaper clippings about local property deals covered the bulletin board where my posters used to hang. Mom appeared behind me, dusting cloth in hand. "Oh, Jodie, you're here early." Her eyes darted around the space. "We meant to tell you. With Jonathan starting his own firm, we needed a proper office for his work." I swallowed hard. "Where's my stuff?" She waved toward the hall. "In the garage, boxed up neatly, since you have your own place now." The room felt foreign. No trace of my high school awards or sketchbooks. Just Jonathan's world. "You could have asked me first." Mom smoothed her apron. "You're busy with that online thing. Come help in the kitchen, everyone's waiting." Downstairs, Jonathan held court with cousins, sharing stories of his latest closing. He nodded at me briefly before diving back in. At the table, Dad raised his glass. "To Jonathan, building the White legacy in real estate. Scouts from big firms are watching." Clinks rang out. My water stayed untouched. After dinner, I slipped to the garage. Boxes labeled Jodie sat beside old tools, my journals bent at the corners. My phone buzzed an email from a media network interested in my channel. They offered a deal to expand, but required financial references for the studio lease. Back inside, I found Dad in the kitchen alone. "Dad, I need to talk about something." He loaded the dishwasher. "Quick game's on soon." I explained the opportunity, my subscriber count hitting 500,000, the need for a co-signer. His face darkened. "You want me to risk my credit on internet videos? Those beauty tutorials are fun, but not stable." "It won't fail. I have real revenue now." He shook his head. "Jonathan has actual clients' properties. That's opportunity. This online stuff, unreliable." My fists clenched. "Just a signature, Dad, not cash." He turned away. "No. Get a real job, then we'll discuss." That night, in what used to be my room, now Jonathan's office, I sat on the floor amid the shelves. Trophies gleamed under the desk lamp. I pulled out my phone hit record for a raw episode I never planned to post. "This is invisibility," I whispered into the mic, "when your own family sees right through you." Tears pricked my eyes, but my voice held steady. The words poured out, years of being second, the favoritism etched into every family moment. I stopped the recording, breathing deep. They might never acknowledge me, but this captured the truth. The next morning over coffee, Mom asked about my hobby. I mentioned the deal again. She sighed. Your father said no. Focus on something practical like Jonathan. I left early, the bungalow shrinking in my rearview. Back in my apartment, I signed the contract alone using my savings for the deposit. The risk terrified me, but so did staying invisible. My channel grew stronger from there, each video a step away from their shadow. A week later, champagne glasses clinked around the dining table in the bungalow. Dad stood tall, beaming as he gripped his flute. To Jonathan sealing that big real estate deal, the white name shines brighter. Cheers erupted, eyes turning to my brother, who smiled modestly. Mom dabbed her eyes while relatives slapped his back, nearly spilling wine on the lace cloth. I forced a nod, my own glass barely lifted. Nobody noticed my phone vibrating, a notification from my producer. My beauty brand had just crossed 1 million monthly followers. The milestone arrived amid toasts to Jonathan's success. Later, Mom found me stacking plates in the kitchen while the living room buzzed with talk of his latest closing. Honey, try not to bring up your videos tonight. She set dessert plates beside me. Jonathan needs the attention, firms are still deciding. I arranged forks precisely. When's my turn, Mom? She exhaled a practiced sound of dismissal. You know your father views real careers differently from hobbies. The word burned. 1 million followers, quarterly ad revenue at $200,000 a hobby. Got it, I clipped. An ant cornered me before pie glasses slipping. How's your little makeup channel, dear? I corrected her. Brand now. We just hit. She interrupted. Did you hear Jonathan might partner with a Dallas firm? Your dad's thrilled. 2 weeks on, I stared at the press release on my laptop in my Austin apartment. White Beauty, my company at 24. 5 product lines, leased studio downtown, 15 staff depending on me. The launch event was booked for next Thursday at a Austin hotel ballroom. 200 industry pros RSVP'd. I craved my family's presence, that childish hope they'd finally recognize me. Fingers unsteady, I typed the email. Mom and Dad launching White Beauty next Thursday at 7 p.m. Austin Hotel Ballroom. Biggest day of my life. Please come. Love, Jodie. I checked obsessively for 6 days. Launch morning, a text pinged. Sorry, sweetie, Jonathan's closing meeting tonight. Dad says good luck with your project. Love you. I read it thrice, then set the phone down. The mirror showed me in a sharp suit, eyes glistening. I blinked back, tears reapplied, lipstick rehearsed my speech. The ballroom sparkled with execs as I took the stage. 5 empty chairs in front, reserved cards. Mom, Dad, Jonathan. Thank you for joining. I started, voice steadier than my pulse. White Beauty redefines accessible glamour. Q&A came. A reporter asked, Miss White, who inspired your brand? The query struck deep. I eyed the vacant seats, perhaps knowing what it's like to be overlooked. Silence fell. Phones captured it. Recognition flickered in attendees' faces, women who knew invisibility. My phone rang at 11:42 that night in my hotel room. Dad's number. Are you embarrassing us on purpose? He thundered. That forgotten nonsense is trending on Twitter. Jonathan's colleagues are questioning. Which part, Dad? I kept calm. The truth about being overlooked. He paused. Like we haven't backed you all along. Exhaustion hit. If it's embarrassing, maybe examine why. His tone shifted, dismissive. This isn't real business, Jodie, not like properties. Millions care, just not you. Silence stretched 3 beats. Your mother's upset. By morning, the clip exploded. Headlines: Beauty entrepreneur calls out family bias. Inbox flooded with women's stories. Partners met Monday worried about personal spin. One said, board's concerned. Another countered, your truth boosts us. Numbers doubled overnight. She was correct. Followers surged. Platforms offered deals. A women's alliance invited me to speak. For once, my overlooked status powered my voice. Dad called again days later, voice softer. That interview we heard parts. Spoke well. Then, but was it really that bad? The question lingered, his first hint of doubt about our dynamics. The email glowed on my laptop screen at 2 a.m., timestamp glaring. 3 years of radio silence shattered by 23 sentences from Dad. Pride in my Forbes feature mingled with a plea for $3,000 monthly to bail out Jonathan. I traced the words, feeling only cold detachment. My apartment hummed quietly, walls lined with awards. They ignored no real estate plaques here. Dad wrote, "We're proud of your accomplishments." The bitterness rose. A quick search would have revealed my success ages ago, but they surfaced when Jonathan hit rock bottom. I replied politely, updating on projects, skipping the money. Signed off with "building my path" instead of affection. Hours later, his follow-up arrived rougher. "Did you miss the part about your brother's crisis?" 2 more emails that evening, 5 the next day. Desperation leaked through. I ignored them all. A week passed. My receptionist's voice crackled over the intercom in my downtown Austin office. "Miss White, your brother is here." Stomach nodding, I smoothed my skirt. "Send him in." Jonathan filled the doorway, jacket loose on once confident shoulders. His eyes narrowed at the city view behind me. "Nice setup," he said flatly. "Must be good." I motioned to the chair. "What do you need, Jonathan?" He stayed standing. "Dad's emails, you're dodging them." I met his gaze. "I answered the first." He paced. "Not the important part." The office quieted beyond the glass walls, team glancing over. "I lost a major deal in Dallas, market crash wiped it." His voice rose. "My firm's tanking and my kids' school fees are due." I leaned back. "I'm sorry to hear that." "Sorry doesn't cover bills. You've got this empire while we're struggling." The accusation landed sharp. Jonathan had a daughter I'd met twice, always overshadowed by his talks with Dad. "You haven't treated me like family since forever." Words slipped out. He slammed his palm on my desk. "This is family helping when it's tough. Jia Jin Giup Nhao, right. When I needed help, where were you?" My tone evened. "Night shifts for college, launching alone." He faltered. "That's different." "How?" "You didn't have the pressure." I stood. "Because I was just the daughter." Heads turned outside. His face flushed. "You've always been jealous." "No, invisible." I opened the door. "We're finished here." That evening, notifications surged. Jonathan's Instagram rant about selfish siblings gained traction. Dad called 7 times. I sent a voicemail. Mom's message came near midnight. "Jodie, family supports family. We gave you what we could. Jonathan needs you." I deleted it. By morning, inquiries hit. A producer mentioned Dad contacting about potential issues affecting my brand. 2 advertisers got similar reaches. Dad had tapped every media tie he knew. My team gathered in the conference room unprompted. Loyalty shone in their expressions. "They're hitting your business now." My operations head said, passing a list. How to respond. I scanned their faces, people who chose me without blood bonds. Tell them white beauty stands on its own. My advisor phoned from Dallas that afternoon. "Your brother's loud online. Need backup." "Just your faith." He paused. "Boundaries are key here." The words armored me. The intercom buzzed 3 days on. "Miss White, your mother on line 1. Finger hovering, I pressed. "Mom." Her voice quavered. "Jodie, I called myself not through your father." "First time." She cleared her throat. "Jonathan's furious you won't assist." "And you, I'm trying to grasp it." Pause lengthened. "Your statements in that clip about being overlooked. Was it that awful?" The query stunned. Decades of erasure, and she questioned the severity. "Remember telling me to quiet down for Jonathan's lessons." "Just one instance." "Every instance." Silence. Her tone hardened. We did our best. Your best went to him. I steadied my breath. Meeting now, Mom. After hanging, a cousin texted. Aunts probing what happened. The perfect white facade cracked fissures spreading from honesty. That night at my window overlooking Austin lights, Dad texted. This isn't white behavior, I replied. Then I'll define it myself. Blocked his number mid-send, then Mom's, Jonathan's. Doors shut digitally, they opened only for gain. The ensuing quiet felt like liberation. A week later, another email arrived. It sat in my inbox at 2:17 a.m., pulling me from sleep's edge. Dad's name, bold subject, your niece misses her aunt. I counted breaths to steady myself. The message read, Jodie hoping you'll join dinner next Sunday for Jonathan's birthday. He's facing a rough patch with the firm closing. His daughter asks about you. Set a good example, family helps family. Remember our sacrifices. Laughter escaped me harsh in the quiet. Sacrifices like funding Jonathan's ventures while I scraped by. More emails followed by mourning. Moms mentioned their struggling grandson, no daughter. Dad reminded of white values. Jonathan's included a photo of his kid with a toy house caption, she wants to meet her successful aunt. Transparent manipulation squeezed my chest. My phone rang during a production meeting. A top creator raised an eyebrow as I silenced it. Family. They found out about my money? She softened. That estrangement video you did is trending. People relate. Rumors started. Journalists emailed about my absent family at events. A writer probed the backstory of White Beauty. Temptation grew to spill everything. The next evening, I powered my camera. The red light blinked steadily. Special episode, I began. Details changed for privacy. Temptation burned to name them, expose how Jodie White and his prodigy son treated the daughter who succeeded solo. But that would mirror their claims bitter. Instead, today about being the last loved daughter, dreaming quietly because your voice didn't count. I spoke unscripted for an hour. Childhood silences converted rooms empty chairs. They became a parent tied to gender roles, a sibling entitled to the world. Power in the unsaid resonant for overlooked women. I titled it, The Look They Ignored, and published. By morning, 1 million views. Evening, 5 million. 48 hours, 10 million heard my story namelessly. Dad called from work, fury trembling. Remove it now. People know it's us. Did I name anyone? They'll assume. Only if it rings true, Dad. He disconnected. Mom tried, tears evident. We loved you always. How could you hurt us? I didn't specify you, Mom. Her quiet confirmed. Jonathan texted, true family keeps secrets. I left it unread. Media exploded days later. Headlines, truth behind beauty mogul's rise. Forgotten daughters unite. Inbox filled with letters from similar women. Colleagues messaged support. Staff tackled work with fresh drive, grasping our mission to uplift silenced voices. At my desk, reviewing analytics, the episode topped downloads. Comments poured. Thought I was alone. Jonathan posted a screed on social about disloyal kin and loyalty's importance. I closed it after one line. His opinions held no weight. Instead, I drafted a reply to a 16-year-old's email. How to claim your voice when family silences it. Words flowed from certainty. Whisper first. Speak louder daily. Right ears will hear even if not blood. I sent it, chains of duty dissolving. The family who dismissed my look for 28 years could tune in with everyone or not. Their choice no longer defined me. The morning light filtered through my apartment windows, casting glows on award walls. 3 years post-viral clip. 3 years blocked numbers. I traced book spines rebellions against a home-prizing property deals over dreams. My downtown Austin space pulsed with peace built solo. White Beauty spanned the top floor nearby. 15 lines now, 50 million monthly engagements. numbers impressed, yet the silence comforted after striving to be seen. A notification chimed. Unfamiliar address. Subject, from Jonathan's daughter. Coffee paused mid-sip. Dear Aunt Jodie. It started. I'm Lana, 12 now. Heard your video on invisible daughters. I get why you don't talk to Dad. Our family hurt you. I want to differ. Can we meet just us? Thumb over delete. White pattern reach when needing. But she's 12. A child. I suggested a coffee shop near my office. Public. Short. Managed. 2 days later, she sat opposite awkward limbs shy grin. Jonathan's features softer gaze. She clutched a box wrapped in comic strips. Dad doesn't know. Mom helped find this. Said you'd want it. Paper crinkled. Inside old makeup kit cracked case tape holding it. My initials JW etched with a pin during boring Sundays of family real estate talks. Where'd you get this? Voice caught. Mom found in Grandpa's garage during cleaning. It's yours. 20 years folded. 12 again practicing looks while ignored. I watch your videos, Lana said, twisting her straw. The invisible one made me cry. Dad avoids you, but I hear him and Grandpa argue about you when they think I'm gaming. Something loosened inside. Tears blurred for years first time. Thanks for this. Throat tight. Can I ask something? She leaned in. How'd you know your look mattered when no one saw? The query mirrored my past. This girl bore white invisibility, not the star child, the observer. I squeezed her hand. I didn't, but silencing it would erase me. Dad pushes real estate on me, but I like designing outfits. Confession rushed. Eyes checked my reaction. Be yourself, Lana. Listen inward. Tell your truth. That's a voice's core. Her smile dawned. Could I learn filming someday like you? When ready, I'll show you. That evening, I placed the kit on my shelf beside awards and features. Contrast struck worn plastic next crystal. Origin and peak. I recorded a personal entry, private forever. Not all scars need sorry to mend. Whispering, holding the kit. Silence sometimes strengthens. Healing comes from watchers choosing better. Phone chimed with a voice note from unknown. Started my own designs, Aunt Jodie. Lana's voice hopeful. I smiled, listening. Cycle snaps. Not shout whisper. Morning light filtered through my apartment windows in downtown Austin. I traced fingers over award plaques on the wall. 3 years since that viral confession. 3 years of blocked contacts. The space felt earned, no echoes of family dismissals. A chime broke the quiet, an unfamiliar email. I nearly dismissed it until the subject caught me, from Jonathan's daughter. Coffee cup halted. The message opened. Aunt Jodie, I'm Lana, 12. Listened to your video on invisible daughters. Understand why you avoid Dad. Family treated you wrong. Want to be different. Meet alone. Hesitation gripped me. The white reach only when convenient. Yet a child's innocence. I proposed a coffee shop near my office. Neutral ground. Brief encounter. 2 days on, she faced me across a table. Lanky frame, tentative smile. Jonathan's chin, kinder eyes. She pushed a small box wrapped in newspaper comics. Dad unaware. Mom located this. Thought you'd like it back. Wrapping tore. Inside lay my old makeup set case, split tape patched. Initials JW scratched in, during ignored afternoons. How? Voice faltered. Mom dug it from Grandpa's garage amid cleanup. Yours. Time collapsed. 12 once more, blending shades while praise went elsewhere. I follow your channel. Lana fidgeted with her drink. Invisible daughter's piece hit hard. Dad skips your name, but I overhear him and Grandpa clash over you, assuming I'm on my phone. Barrier cracked within. Tears surfaced after ages. Appreciate bringing this. Words squeezed past constriction. Question. She edged forward. How knew your style counted when ignored echoed my youth. This girl carried observation's weight, not favored the silent one. I clasped her hand. Didn't know. Knew silence would erase me. Dad urges property paths. Prefer creating looks. Admission hurried. Eyes gauged response. Follow your path, Lana. Hear yourself. Share honestly. Voice needs that. Smile bloomed. Learn recording one day. Your way. Ready, I'll guide. Evening old set joined shelf between accolades and profiles. Mismatch jarred faded plastic amid shine. Start and summit. Private log recorded. Wounds heal sans apology sometimes. Murmured cradling set. Freedom from seeing strength in quiet. Paused, recalling Lana's face. Healing via those who observe and opt change. Phone buzzed with voice message from strange number. Began own styles, Aunt Jodie. Lana's tone optimistic. I listened grinning. Pattern fractures. Whisper over roar. Yet resolve held. No reconciliation. I blocked remaining ties, ensuring complete severance. Media spotlight lingered, but personal peace prevailed. Unfolded realistically. Jonathan's firm collapsed under debt, major Texas deals soured by market dip. Bankruptcy filings public, he lost the bungalow auctioned per U.S. Chapter 7 laws. Assets liquidated, family relocated to smaller, rental reputation tarnished in Austin circles. Sandra faced isolation. Scandal rippled through community, friends, distanced invitations dried. Church groups whispered, social events excluded her. Loneliness set in health reports hinted stress impacts, no support network left. Article clippings confirmed real estate prodigy files bankruptcy, family drama shadows beauty empire. No sympathy stirred in me. Their choices reaped this. Lesson crystallized. Self-worth breeds freedom. Setting limits on toxic kin fosters independence. Living unburdened, I thrived. No more chasing validation from those who withheld it. My voice, my rules.